Our campaigning is in its final stretch in the East Malaysian state of Sabah as more than 1.7 million voters head to the polls tomorrow. A record 596 candidates are vying for 73 seats in the 79-seat state assembly. Long-standing issues like utilities, road infrastructure and Sabah's share of federal revenue dominating this campaign, sharpening the divide between local and national parties. More CNA correspondent Afifah Ariffin joins us live from Kota Kinabalu. Afifah, now you had been at those rallies. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim lending support to both PH, Pakatan Harapan, and GRS, Chief Minister. That's a Gabungan Rakyat Sabah. That's a coalition. That's the Chief Minister there. What does that say about dynamics in these polls?
Well, we see the momentum has definitely intensified over the last couple of days. We saw how on Wednesday and Thursday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim came here to Sabah, first in Sandakan and then Kota Kinabalu, to, of course, lend his support to not just his Pakatan Harapan candidates, but also to the incumbent Chief Minister and the GRS leader, Haji Noor. And the PM's message is this, that the strong partnership that the federal government has had with the Sabah state government, the incumbent Sabah state government, has been good, and that this good relationship, this good partnership is very crucial for Sabah's progress in the future. I mean, tonight I'm here at the Barisan Nasional's closing rally, and the atmosphere here is pretty energetic. We're seeing hundreds of Barisan Nasional supporters gathered here. We know that the coalition's president, Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who's also the Deputy Prime Minister, is in attendance. And this is really the atmosphere that has been happening yesterday as well as tonight, that all the four major blocs contesting in this election, GRS, Warisan, Pakatan Harapan, Barisan Nasional, they're really pushing. It's their final push in these final hours ahead of polling days. It shows that the reality is that the race is still very much wide open. And at this point, there's no one coalition that can claim a strong lead going into tomorrow's poll. So really, Putrajaya is seeing Sabah as something that's very politically strategic. But this is also a state where alliances are very fluid, and we know that loyalties can shift very quickly. But throughout the campaign, we know that, on voters' minds, it's not just about party loyalty. There are a lot of frustrations that have been building over the last couple of years, issues surrounding water shortages, blackouts, lack of development, a slow development of infrastructure. These are on the minds of voters, and it cuts across both rural and urban areas. And adding on a layer to that is the issue of governance and corruption. It comes this week after the senior political secretary of the Prime Minister, Shamsul Iskandar, had resigned from his position following allegations linking him to Sabah politicians surrounding the mining scandal.
All right, Afifah, not just a wide open race, which you just pointed to, a reminder, it's 596 candidates fighting for 73 seats, and every seat is a multi-cornered fight. So whatever the result that we see from the weekend, what does this mean? Does this mean anything for Sabah and beyond Sabah for the federal government?
That's right, we see almost 600 candidates there competing for 73 elected seats in the State Assembly. And what this means that, in every seat we're seeing at least a 6 to 7 way contest, in some constituencies even more. And this tells us that Sabah politics has become increasingly fragmented. And what this means is that, in every of this seat, it's very hard to predict who is the winner. And as I said earlier, a lot of political analysts are unable to call which coalition will win tomorrow. And what this also means is that tomorrow's results could not, there could not be a strong state government. No one coalition would be able to get that simple majority and form a state government here in Sabah. And the fragmentation then makes that result, very unpredictable. And this would have a direct impact on how effectively can the next Sabah state government have negotiating power with the federal side. Of course, the federal side will also want an ally here in Sabah that is very much aligned with them. We know that Sabah has been pushing for a couple of major issues surrounding, say, the 40% revenue entitlement as part of that MA63 agreement. It also wants better development funding. It also wants greater autonomy over, local infrastructure deals as well as local natural resources. But the bigger picture of things is that this Sabah state election is not happening in isolation. It's the first marker of a series of state elections that are set to happen before the next general election cycle takes place, and that has to take place before February 2028. So we're bound to see state elections that are going to happen in Sarawak, in Malacca, and Johor. And so the Sabah state elections is really a bellwether to gauge political sentiment on the ground. And observers are very closely watching the outcome of the polls tomorrow, because what happens here would really define the sort of political space that the Madani government has to set the national agenda before GE16.
Oh, thanks for the reminder of the much bigger picture here. CNA senior correspondent Afifah Ariffin reporting live there from Kota Kinabalu.